Now the owner is furious with me, and since I don't work for him, nor do I have an IT company, I just said, "I told you so," and hung up. Welcome back to Metal Straws. In today's video, we're covering posts from r/MaliciousCompliance. Let's dive right in. Don't want backups? Okay then. So I'm by no means an expert at network engineering, but I am an engineer who works on networks for very large oil and gas plants. Well, a friend of mine works at a small company, and they asked me to help with getting their data accessible via the internet. Because it's a close friend, I said sure and called the owner to talk specifics. Come to find out, they have exactly one hard drive that gets passed around to store all company data on. I told him that was insane and he needs redundant backups both here and at a third-party site in case a fire destroyed everything. I gave the cheapest option I could that was basically just to buy 2 NAS systems off Amazon and the drives for them. It would have cost maybe $500. He would keep one at the office and one at his house. I could set them up to auto backup, plus the employees could have an online shared drive that they could dump files into over the internet. He immediately said that $500 was way more than he could afford for this type of thing, and just told me to get the current drive online. I repeatedly told him this was the worst possible thing you can do, but he didn't care. So I just plugged the drive into their router and set up the computers to be able to access it. I sent a "see ya" email to him and never looked back. So that was about a year ago, and now my friend sends me a series of frantic text messages saying they lost the drive and if I know how to recover data from a formatted drive. I say, formatted? Who formatted it? I say no, but there are companies that can do it, but it might be expensive. For whatever reason, they called an actual IT company out to do something and he accidentally formatted their drive. Wow. And lost everything from the past 15 plus years. No. Now the owner is furious with me, and since I don't work for him, nor do I have an IT company, I just said, "I told you so," and hung up. Too long didn't read? Company won't pay small fee for new equipment, so they lose all of their data. I cannot cancel my hotel reservation less than 24 hours before check-in? Okay, this happened a year ago. My SO and I had a hotel reservation months prior for a long weekend in upstate New York, but then things happened, so we decided to cancel our plans. I called the hotel the day before our supposed check-in and was informed that I cannot cancel a reservation less than 24 hours before our check-in. I explained and asked if it's possible to make an exception, since no one could have foreseen what happened, and it's an unprecedented time. But the front desk said when I reserved, I agreed to the reservation restrictions that included said rule. Now they will have to charge me 50% of the total cost, about $250. I looked for the reservation and read it twice and found that it does say that, but it also said I can reschedule a booking for free, plus pay the difference in price if there are available rooms. So I called again and asked to reschedule our original reservation to the next weekend, and sure enough, there was availability. After they confirmed that it had been reserved, I told them I'm canceling it for a full refund since now the check-in is a full week away. Malicious compliance success. Too long didn't read? Hotel won't cancel and refund reservation for check-in less than 24 hours away, but has free rescheduling, so I rescheduled to a week later and then canceled for a full refund. That is very clever. So, in the state I live, we have strict labor laws that require companies to give employees 30-minute breaks every 5 hours work, or else they can get in trouble with the state and get fined. Also, a break is defined as nothing work-related, so the employee can rest. This is an important fact. So this happened Thursday. The department I work in needed to do some consultation meeting at a time where everybody could be present. The time happened to be during my scheduled lunch break. Mind you, my schedule is full with clients before and after the meeting with no wiggle room. So we met for our lunch to do our meeting. Everyone gets their lunch and the meeting starts. As we're eating, we're discussing different cases and how we'll proceed with these cases. Meeting ends 5 minutes before I have a meeting with my next client. So technically, I never had a break, hence not clocking out for lunch. I knew that the following morning, HI would contact me because my timesheet showed that I never clocked out for lunch. Did you forget to clock out? No, I didn't have lunch. But you have one scheduled. Yeah, that's true. However, the CEO and director scheduled a mandatory meeting during that time, so I had to participate. Oh, well, did you take any breaks? No, because my schedule was full and there was no time to take breaks. Okay, you're good. I heard the CEO complain later because they have to pay me time and a half of overtime for not taking a break. HR told the CEO that I, the employee, was correct and that even though the CEO paid for lunch, it was still work time because it was a mandatory meeting. I could have sworn the CEO snarled at me yesterday. Half the bill, half the design. This happened a number of years ago. I worked at a small architecture firm as a designer. We specialized in high-end homes for incredibly wealthy people. We were working on this one project where it was a custom design home. Previous house on site had been demolished based on securing a permit with some very preliminary design drawings for the new place. Nothing you could use to build. This client stopped paying his bills. We were assured we were getting paid, promised the sun and the moon, and were told to keep working and finish the set. Architectural drawing set gets finished, but not issued due to the above outstanding billed hours. So the client calls in a huff, spitting mad, Friday of an upcoming long weekend, demanding the drawings. He was informed that we can't release the drawings with the architect's stamp on them until we're paid. He's furious, says we're only getting half what he already paid for, and threatens to sue us for every reason in the book. Architect says, sure, we can do half, and hangs up. So we cut off half of every drawing using big white boxes. So the left half of the finished drawing on every sheet is complete, however the right half of the sheet is completely white. This, of course, also blocks off the title block, where a lot of the architectural data and the stamp would be. We issue the flattened PDF and go home for the weekend, taking a half day. Wouldn't you know it, this client had done a private sale of the property based on our renderings and initial design concepts, and promised a complete set of architectural drawings to the buyer. The house was supposed to close that Friday. We were shielded by our boss from the blowback, so I don't actually know what all happened. But yeah, pay your architect. Update for everyone speculating as to the client. This was an independently wealthy individual who is not very well known. The tactics used by famous people definitely inspire the less famous people in their income bracket. My nephew bought a car transmission on the well-known auction site. A few days later, he received a crate. He opened it and it was full of junk parts. Just some old brake rotors and junk to have the crate weigh what the transmission would have weighed. Of course, he contacted the seller and they claimed they sent a transmission and refused to do anything. My nephew got a bit heated and an argument ensued, and the seller finally told him if he didn't like it that he could sue them. Now the good part? Said nephew's older brother just happens to be an attorney. Pretty convenient. Nephew calls brother, explains the situation, and the brother says he'll look into it. Come to find out, the seller is out of state, the selling price was large enough to be a felony, plus with the shipper selling over state lines, it turns into an interstate commerce violation, which is a federal offense. He sent the seller a typical lawyer letter full of legalese, but pointing out the issue of a possible felony and the interstate commerce violation. My nephew had the money back in a few days, and of course, no charge from the family attorney. Edit, I don't know if he went any further as to pressing charges, or at least getting law enforcement involved. He talked to me about it a couple of days after he got his money back, and we never talked about it again. My bet the cops would have asked, you got your money back, and that would have been the end of it. And that brings us to the end of r/MaliciousCompliance. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. If there's another subreddit you'd like me to do, let me know in the comments. I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys.